Okay, so I just want to talk about cars just a little bit, to share what I do, because I wonder if it might help you, but it's important stuff that I think about when I do cars. CAR stands for Controlled Articulated Rotation. There's a plural, rotations, that's why it's cars. It really is a lot like what happens in a dance class. We just move our bodies in various ways that create more range of motion. No tension range of motion, and then there's tension range of motion. And so my flexibility, my passive flexibility, is the no tension. So passively, this is my range. I'm not really using any kind of, I'm not muscling through this. There's a difference. So I can move in a maybe greater range of motion, I think, when I am not flexing. So this is passive, right? And then when I am intensifying the muscles, so when there is tension, my range does start to shorten a little bit, but that's because it's under load and the muscles are contracted. CARS is about using tension and not passive. So it's different from stretching in that, if I would just lean over and I hang over and I just let gravity do the work, then I'm going to hit a certain range. But I'm also more susceptible to getting injured as well, because I don't quite really know, my body doesn't quite know where the end range is. And that end range, I think, also has to deal with what's going on in your nervous system. If you are in a parasympathetic mode, where you're calm, you're relaxed, you're in that digestive state. Hi, Dada. Hello, look who came to the party. She's got her thunder vest on, because it's thunder outside. And it's coming. Okay, bed. Bed. Don't make it a bed. Come on. You know better. Good girl. Okay, stay. What do you got something to say? The nervous system has a lot to play with your, future capabilities of getting hurt, right? So when you are stretching in a passive range of motion, you have to be really relaxed if you do try to further that range. So the idea is any kind of range, you're trying to open up more and more. So if I'm trying to get my hands and my arms over my shoulders, that's my range right now. If I did that, but I had to arch my back and stick my butt out and lean forward to meet my body to my arms, then I don't really have good range of motion as I would if I were to be able to not compensate for other muscle groups to create this range that opens all the way up with my shoulder. But CARS is not about being passive. So you shouldn't just be relaxed completely, it's not say relaxed, you want to be relaxed but not flimsy. So whenever I do anything and I move within range, let's say I start with, I'm going to start with this, because this is the first thing I'm going to warm up, is my wrist. I'm going to go with just maybe a little bit of tension. Like if I were to grab something and pick it up, that would be kind of the tension I would feel. Something not very heavy, 10 pounds, I guess. At 5 pounds. Because when you use weight, all you're doing is you're just trying to create more tension. And that's what's going on with your muscles. So you can do this without weight, but that's the kind of tension you want to feel. So if I'm going to do wrist CARS, and I've never done this at 5 pounds, but I would have 5 pounds in my hand right now, and I would be rotating with that kind of tension. So this is why CARS can be beautiful too, and I haven't gotten there yet, but because I'm trying to perfect the baseline, which gives you great stability and posture and form overall when working out, when doing a deadlift, a burpee, a squat, dynamically moving through your life, sitting down, laying down, just moving around in general. You want this tension And that's what I'll be doing, is I'm creating tension. And I'm going to my end range of that tension. So how far can I go with that tension? And I'm actually less likely to injure myself because I'm going at this full range with this tension. Now, if I was a passive and I was just relaxed and it's kind of flimsy, you know, I don't really quite know where the edge of my muscles' capabilities are. But I do with tension. So when I go to the shoulder, I think this is honestly my weakest part personally. But anytime I do anything from the sockets, you know, that's where I'm trying to create tension. And you can do that by multiple ways. Postural alignment and energy exertion make a difference. So I've got my feet planted into the floor and they're right underneath my hips, or they're together, because sometimes I want tension to go this way and I can zip up through the spine, lifting tall. So when I get to my hips, we have a lot of tendency, everyone does, to stick our butt out a little bit, especially if you're an Instagram model. But we're not all Instagram models, and that's going to be terrible for your lower back in the end. So pushing through the feet, tucking the tailbone in, and creating that tension in your glutes. And from there, lifting out of your hips so that you're standing tall. And then the shoulder blades roll up, back, and down, so they're connected and they're sitting back there, and you can feel them. And the chin, sometimes we have a tendency to just do this. Again, if you roll your shoulders and you lock them in place downward, so you're pushing your shoulders downward, your neck will start to come back. And I would think about taking the chin and tucking it in and lengthening through the back of the spine. And that means connecting your spine all the way to the back of your head, all the way upward. And that's where the energy is coming. So I have lots of parts of my body that are pushing in various ways, directionally, constantly. So when I'm not standing, I'm not just kind of like, all right, that's my ready position. The tailbone is relaxed, my knees are bent a little bit maybe, the stomach's relaxed, the chest is falling forward, and the head's jut out. Like, this is where we end up if we don't work on our posture. And so every day doing cars, then you can think, oh, let me make sure I'm tucking the tailbone in, lifting from the waist, hugging the lower ribs down, really cupping them, lengthening through the neck, pulling the shoulders down and back, and then lengthening through the back of the spine. And so that's kind of like my, toe to head checklist. I would say the toes, the feet, just try to have it evenly, the weight distributed evenly in the feet, especially in the toes, the outer part of the balls of the foot and the heel, and pushing out of that. So you should feel yourself actually grow a little bit taller. And the idea maybe is that you want to stand perfectly straight up and down, as tall as you can. And just by creating that concept in your mind, your body will start to do that, and it will hold that position, and it's using muscles in the right way. And now you have your set position for your cars. So everything I'm doing, I'm not just focusing on the cars itself, right? I'm also pushing down, tucking the tailbone, lifting out of the hips, hugging the lower ribs down, rotating the arm, shoulder blades back, pulling the chin in, lifting through center up. And it's exhausting.